Hilmar von Campe, author of Defeating the Totalitarian Lie. Okay, let's continue where you left off. Your story got cut off by the break. So Hitler obviously
announced on September 1 of 1939 that the Polish army, which were in reality not the Polish army, but the SS soldiers in Polish uniforms, that they had intruded into Germany and killed people, and now we should shoot back. And we took it. I took it. I was then 14 years old, so I took that as the truth. But then 2 days later, the French and British governments declared war on Germany because they had a contract, a treaty with Poland if they would be attacked by us. And so when we heard about this, we said these are the same enemies as World War I. The British, the main principal enemies, France and British. This, therefore, is not a Nazi war. This is a German war. And we first have to win the war, and then we have to deal with the Nazis. So we went voluntarily. I was drafted, but I would have gone alone also and become a soldier and defend my fatherland. There were millions of us who did not go for the Nazis into the war. But we wanted to defend our fatherland. My elder brother fell in Russia, and it was at that time. It was usual. We have announcement in the newspapers about people who die and in the war, people who fell. And if people fell, the family normally said, so and so fell for Führer, for the Nazi leader, for Hitler, for Germany and for the people of Germany. And my brother did not die for the Nazis. Like us, he thought he would, he's a patriot, he would defend Germany. And so it happened. And when the war was over, my mother, we were refugees, we were thrown out of Germany, and of Eastern Europe, Germany, and the hatred of the Nazis for her was so terrible that the whole person was full of hate, because my father was killed in a Soviet concentration camp, and she made the Nazis responsible for the destruction of our country and for the destruction of our family. And only when she realized that as a Christian, hatred was not what Christian teaching was, she realized that she was a fake Christian. And she went down on her knees, and she couldn't get rid. She could not kill this hatred. And she went on her knees, and he said to God, if you are there, I know that I shouldn't hate. I cannot help me. Please help me. And I don't get up before I am free of my hatred. It took her 2 hours, and then she got up, and she was a free woman. And I'm telling you this story to tell you the depth of the feeling inside Germany about the Nazi system and the Nazi people and the Nazi ideology.
Of course, one tyranny brought you into World War II, but then your father was killed by the other Soviet tyranny that even killed more people than Hitler. Let's get into parallels, because you said you really want to get into that, and your book covers that, between what's happening in the West and the United States and what you saw in Germany, the totalitarian mindset, the totalitarian system, more parallels.
Yeah, I think like everybody else, I look at the radio, I listen to radio broadcasts like this one. I look to the commentaries in the television show, national shows where I want to get into, like there are quite a number, Hannity and Glenn Beck and so forth. But they all deal on territory which is not the original American territory. It is the consequence of what we have been faced with for quite some time. And I hear people speaking about the battle between capitalism and communism or socialism. That is not the main issue. The main issue is God. That God is being taken out of out of society, out of schools, out of families, and so I'm saying is that the global ideological war in which we are for decades now, and most Americans don't realize it, which we are in decades, is the role of God in human society. And Nazi Germany was a part of the insurrection against God by Christians and by atheists, people who don't want to accept the commandments of God. I think the godlessness in the infrastructure of the United States with 50 million abortions dead, human beings not born being killed, that is much more than the 6 million Jews which the Nazis killed, and 10 millions more, like my father, like people like my father who were taken by from the Soviets, which are the same similar ideologies. So there is a connecting part where the so-called Christians who don't stand up and the Nazi ways of defeat the people, their own people, how they went after their own people, and what you told me, what they're doing now with putting the ideology to bear on our youth. That is terrible, because it is the same. It is a road to totalitarian system. We in America are on the road into a totalitarian system, and we are very close to get in there and have no reply, no return. So this is
yes,
my book. I want my book to go to the whole of America to show the difference, or what is in common between the Nazi regime and what we have here. The only difference is that we have also millions of people who do believe in God, who want to live a Christian life, and who want a nation which is run not by communists, socialists, but is being run by people who listen to the voice of God and making America a nation under God.
Mr. von Campe?
Yes.
When you look at Glenn Beck on one side and then Obama on the other, you made a very important point that they're only discussing symptoms, not the disease itself. And the left-right paradigm, foreign offshore banks that want a centralized government and who want to end the family and who don't want people to have allegiance to family or God. I mean, the God could be the Easter Bunny, and I'm a Christian, but I'm saying even if an atheist doesn't believe this, the point is they wouldn't want you worshiping the Easter Bunny. They want you worshiping them. They want the state to be God, and that's what's being set up here. And classical tyranny is coming in on the left and the right. And you're right, the Nazis called themselves National Socialist. They wanted a centralized system. And anytime you get a centralized system, you're going to have the control freaks. You're going to have the people that want to have a centralized system so they can rob and control the population. You're going to have them come streaming in. And you're right, we're on the road. In fact, we're already there to totalitarianism. The question is, how much worse will we allow it to get? And so that's why the information you're covering is so important. Tell people the best place to get the book. Can they get it at Amazon.com, bookstores? Can they get it at voncampe.com that we'll put up on screen? What's the best way for people to get defending the totalitarian, defeating the totalitarian lie? A former Hitler youth warns America. And then how do we defend the Republic? How do we defend against the totalitarian?
Yeah, the books is via my website. You get my signature with it. But you can get it also at Amazon.com. You can get it also on there. And, probably your bookstore may not have them, but unless they are a socialist bookstore, they will get it for you. And what was the other question?
Well, no, I just want people to know where they can get the book because I haven't read the whole thing. I got it last week.
I want to get this book to the whole of America because it shows what's wrong and it shows what is being done about what is wrong, who they are, who are our real enemy.